Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here, and today I'm joined by Cheeky Crypto, Chris and Nick. I've had them on the channel before. They're guys that I follow fairly closely in the space. They cover a lot of different projects, what's going on. So really great to have them back on to get a feel for where they see the market right now and what they are personally looking at. So Chris, Nick, great to have you back. You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Paul.
Thanks. Yeah, cheers.
Great. So look, jump straight into it. I'll put all the links to your channel and everything like that down below for anyone who wants to go over who isn't already subscribed. But what are your overall thoughts right now? Where are we in the overall market, bull cycle, altcoins, all of that type of stuff? What's your own personal thoughts?
Do you want to go first, Nick?
Sure. I feel that we're in the last leg now. Obviously, for people who are familiar with what we do, we're tracking impulsive waves, elliott impulsive waves up. So we're in the fifth wave. That's how I see it now for crypto, and as a general kind of sense. Some obviously are lagging behind. Cardano, for example, maybe it's a little bit slower than people anticipate, but many have obviously set new all-time highs. We've had Polkadot recently going. We've had Elrond recently hitting new all-time highs. So yeah, we're definitely firmly in that fifth wave, pushing up. Anticipating early 2022 kind of peaking out with the bull run before we slip down into the bear market.
Yeah, and I echo kind of what you're saying, Nick. We're in that sort of final leg. We're on the channel talking about exit strategies, making sure people are signed up to various different exchanges, so they've got different routes out of the market. At the point that they wish to get out, that is. So yeah, no, it's exciting stuff. I think for me, I'm really looking forward to the bear market, because that's where we generate sort of a lot of the generational level wealth that everybody's sort of after, so they don't have to do the 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Like, you see some people, as soon as people talk about selling points, you get all this, you can't even dream of selling at this point. But getting an exit strategy in mind is something that everyone should have. And it's going to be different for everyone as well. Just because someone thinks a certain coin is going to go to whatever price, for me, DCA is always the best way to get out. Like, if you think a coin is going to a certain price, then when you start getting anywhere near that, you start selling off part of your position. If you blow past it, great, you're still selling past that, and you'll get an average sellout price then. But don't be left holding a full bag when we do go to the inevitable bear market, because it's going to happen. It's like it goes to complete euphoria when the charts are going green everywhere and all of that, and sometimes it's hard to sell off, but we will hit a bear market. And as you say, that's where you can make generational wealth, is when you can start picking up the really good, fundamentally good projects when they're at a fairly low point. So you mentioned as well, Cardano is kind of lagging behind right now. What's your thoughts kind of overall there? I suppose we did think we'd have fully working smart contracts, DEXs, money markets, all of that type of stuff. It is coming, but just a little bit behind where we'd like to see. What do you guys think of the overall status of Cardano right now?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity. If we really think about what often happens when coins do pump, they pump and everyone's like, "Oh, I wish I got in earlier." Right? That pump is coming for Cardano. I'm very confident that we haven't seen the peak yet, right? And by the end of the bull run, it's going to be significantly higher than it is today. It's not going to be a 10x. It's not going to be any crazy numbers like that. But a nice comfortable 5x from here is something that I can see in the charts, right? It's inside the data. So what a fantastic opportunity to have Cardano stagnant, trading sideways the way that it has done, right? Because this just means there's another opportunity to lock in that bag ahead of where we think things are going. So for me, I'm just kind of blessed that Cardano is where it is right now, in the sense that you can pick up such fantastic prices for ADA, with such fantastic things happening in the background. And once they start launching and all those additional projects launch on the ecosystem, what a thriving ecosystem it will be further down the line.
Yeah, and I think from my side, just looking at it from a fundamental and use case sort of lens, I guess, the stuff that's going on in Africa, I think, is just amazing as a use case. I kind of feel like people are sleeping on Cardano in many ways, and getting sort of, I guess, caught up in a lot of the FUD or noise, the fact that other projects are doing really, really well at the moment, and we shouldn't take anything away from the teams on these other projects that are doing really well, right? It's well deserved, and the people investing in them, are doing really well. And we should be happy for those people. But I do feel longer term, Cardano is potential, has the potential to be the king of the DeFi side of things. And I think ultimately, you're going to have economies running on Cardano, and I think that people are sleeping on it in some regards. So yeah, I echo kind of what Nick's saying. If you think more longer term, so outside of this cycle, I think people are going to do really, really well out of Cardano as a project and an investment.
Yeah, I agree with everything they're doing, kind of real world use cases. It's not the type of stuff that gives the market the huge spike right now. But for me, that's one of the big reasons that I have such a big part of my portfolio just sitting in Cardano, because I'm confident of where it's going long term, even if short term, look, we can't really say it doesn't perform. It was this time last year, it was around 10 cents. We're now $2 or just over $2. So can't complain on them types of returns either. And I think, as Nick has said, we are going to go higher in this cycle. Once everything starts to launch, that is going to be a little bit ahead of, or a little bit behind or further on in the cycle than some of the other coins we see now. We see DOT, they have their parachains that are going live. I think the first one actually went live today, maybe. So DOT is on a great run. Don't see it slowing down for the next few weeks either, while people are accumulating to get into the parachains. Solana, very hot right now as well. So to me, I don't look at other chains and say, oh, there's something wrong with that or there's something wrong with that. It's like, every chain has their advantages. Everything has their weaknesses as well. So lots of room for all of them to compete. And when these other ones are going on a big run, that money has to flow somewhere at a later stage as well. And I feel when these other ones start to slow down, that's when they will flow into Cardano if everything is launching at that stage. So outside of Cardano, Bitcoin, what else are you guys looking at? So at the minute, market's looking very good. Where are you putting your focus?
Many places as normal. Because we do talk about an awful lot of projects, but I think where we specialize is a lot of the projects before lots of people start talking about them. I think we were talking about MTV when we were last with you. We're talking about Harmony. So we're still sort of all over those projects. DSLA, Silo would be another one. So we talk about a lot of these projects that probably don't get aired that much, but we are sort of scanning our eyes over projects that having gaming projects that are launching on those ecosystems. So like Phantom, for example, we think it's a really good project. We've got lots of projects around gaming, NFTs, sort of building on the ecosystem. Polkadot, like you mentioned with parachains, they're going for quality over quantity, should I say. So those projects are really interesting. I think Harmony is doing some fantastic things around DAOs, where they're getting the community to really actually have a say. I've been on a few calls with like the community DAO, for example, where it's on Twitter and people can just jump on, talk about like ideas, how things are going. You can put the ideas forward and you can actually change how the project sort of moves forward, which is really, really good. I think it's a different spin on people saying, it's a community driven project. This is like, you can actually do it and actually have your say on calls and through the voting mechanism. So yeah, I really do like that aspect. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Nick.
In terms of projects that are focused, obviously you have mentioned Multivac. It's obviously doing interesting things. They launched their mainnet, etc. Obviously Harmony with the DAO aspect. They are a firm believer in that DAOs are going to be everywhere in the future, right? A government effectively is a DAO, right? In the future, countries will be run on DAOs. And what you're seeing now is basically a whole host of DAOs for various different elements. And it is an important thing to kind of understand and get in early on and actually, shape the future of some of these projects like Harmony. So that's an interesting stuff going on there. Above and beyond those, as Chris was saying, some of these new projects that are launching around the gaming side, the metaverse kind of stuff. Really interesting. Obviously, on the back of everything that Facebook has recently done, it does obviously now put more of a focus on metaverse related projects. Obviously, it's not new by any stretch of the imagination. Facebook isn't, pioneering anything in that regard. But what they are doing is now putting a focus on metaverse as a whole, right? There's billions of people who use Facebook now know about metaverses, right? And that wasn't necessarily the case before. So things like, cornucopias launching on Cardano is an interesting project. Obviously not launched yet, but something to be watching, and I think going forward. And yeah, the portfolio is quite vast, right? So it's really hard to kind of just pick one or two assets out of there and kind of talk about it. But ones that we generally focus on, obviously VeChain's still doing quite well. Obviously Anchor for Web3, fantastic. It's been on a run recently as well. There's a long list, unfortunately. Hard to pick.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, Harmony One are going to be having the bridge to Bitcoin shortly, so that's another positive from a Harmony perspective. Multivac, obviously Nick mentioned, have launched their NFT. They did an airdrop, which was really interactive, and we're still got a few to give away to people. Then you've got their smart contracts that are coming. I think it's December they've got down on their roadmap, and potentially another exchange listing. So there's loads going on. The other one that I'm looking at is Elrond. They've got their launch pad now, launching a metaverse game. I can't remember the name of it, but really interesting one where, if you're a passenger in a car, you can put one of those VR headsets on, and basically it's you're sort of immersed in a metaverse, and you've got things going on around you, and it uses GPS to see where you are. So the faster the car's moving, if it turns right, you'll do all of that within the metaverse. It's really interesting stuff. So I think there's loads going on, lots of stuff that's going to sort of draw in lots of people that wouldn't really be involved in cryptocurrency, and I think we'll see mass adoption off the back of it. The other thing is crypto.com, which is we're partnered with crypto.com on the channel, and we don't really talk about the token that much, but that's been on an absolute blast off at the minute. I mean, I think 24% today, the last time I looked at it, and they're literally partnering with every man and his dog at the moment, Matt Damon and all sorts. So I think there's lots going on that's supportive of mass adoption as well, that we're just sort of keeping an eye on. Yeah,
I really am seeing crypto.com everywhere at the minute. UFC, Formula One. Seeing you guys actually got to go down for the Formula One day as well. That looked really good.
Yeah, I spent most of my time being thrown around the car with the Formula One driver, like driving us around Silverstone. It was just, something else.
Nice, great experience to get to go down and do all of that type of stuff. So, I do actually use the card as well. I'm not sponsored by the channel. I just actually not sponsored by them, but I like the card. It's very easy to use, and the different tiers. So, other stuff you mentioned there, the Harmony One. So, for anyone actually who has Harmony One, you guys run a validator node there as well. So I can put the details down below for that as well. That's effectively for staking their Harmony One. And the DAOs is a very interesting thing as well. And I think a lot of cryptocurrencies will need to go that way down the line as well, to start putting things back into the control of the community. Like we see within Cardano, obviously we have IOHK does pretty much all the development. The community's starting to come up with tools now, which is good. We have DC Spark and other people out there as well. But long term, a DAO would be a really good solution there, I think, to actually let the community vote in what needs to get funded. We have it with Catalyst at the minute, but it's good to have it. There's a huge pot of funds there, but it's not ideal right now. It's hard for the actual developers to get funded because people don't know what all of the development means and what's actually needed on the network. So a DAO, something like that down the line, could be very good within Cardano as well.
And I do think that we're going to see that more and more. I think we'll see DAOs really start to sort of take hold more and more as, like, it might maybe not in this bull cycle, but as we go into the bear market, I do think that we are going to see these just explode, and we're going to start to see them sort of popping up everywhere. I mean, I think we've even seen an exchange have one recently, Nick, as well. I can't remember what exchange it was.
Bybit done something, didn't they?
Yeah,
I didn't look into it actually, but I seen a decent bit of talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're just going to see it more and more. I think it's a real positive for anybody that wants to, have a say and really sort of push the direction of the project. I think it's fantastic, and it definitely makes it more decentralized, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I suppose it allows a project to go into different sectors as well, especially with regulation and stuff like that. If it's controlled by a DAO rather than controlled by a CEO who can be told this needs to be shut down or this isn't right, you can't do this. When you have a DAO making the decisions, it opens up a lot of the possibilities of where a currency or an asset can actually go. So it'd be interesting to see the development there, and gaming as well. That definitely is going to be something that brings so many new people into the space, and especially when they start using games where they don't realize it's a blockchain game until the items they actually get in the game, they start hearing their NFTs and they can actually go off and sell them outside the game and stuff like that. That there is going to be a huge asset and a huge onboarding ramp as well for cryptocurrency, because the generation that's growing up now have grown up playing games, buying in-game items, all of this type of stuff. So when we have quality games on the blockchain that can match the graphics and match the gameplay that's out there already, then I think it will really take off. Like at the minute, we're seeing huge amount of games. You mentioned Cornucopias. I've had them on the channel. I'm a big fan of them as well. And there's so many more out there across other sectors. You mentioned Phantom, and that one sounds really cool. The one in the car as well that picks up where you are and gives you that experience. So I suppose you actually feel with the car moving, it all lines up.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. It's the first time I've seen anything that sort of encompasses GPS like that one. I think it does put a different spin on it, and I think we're going to see more and more of the growth of the metaverse. I think with the announcement from Facebook though, I wouldn't want people sort of just jumping in, FOMOing in. Without researching it. And I know you mentioned research, these projects and stuff before sort of diving in. I think that's really important because, we're seeing a lot of people sort of just jumping in. We probably saw this with some of the meme coins recently. I think Shiba obviously went on an absolute tear for whatever reason. But, we saw people getting in and getting wrecked when it pulled back 30%. So, I want to urge some caution, just make sure that you're not jumping in both feet without actually doing some research. Because I think if you get into some of these at the right price, you're going to do, fantastically well over the next, few years for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is like getting kind of the Ready Player One vibe off that sitting in the car. Like I'm thinking of where he's for anyone who's seen the film, where he's in the whole harness set where it's actually holding him up, giving you that type of feel where your body feels like you're in it when you're in the car. But on meme coins and stuff like that as well, unfortunately, like a lot of people make crazy amounts of paper money or kind of just paper gains within meme coins, but unfortunately, not that many people actually sell them off and take the profit because they buy in based on the hype and they keep holding the hype the whole way up and they hold it basically all the way down as well. And there's not that many people actually sell off with, obviously there are people that sell off, but the percentage that make huge money in it are huge money that they actually pull out is very, very small. So it comes back to what we talked about earlier, the exit strategy, and even DCA out of it, start taking small bits out, take your initial capital out anyway. Once you do the first few X in a coin, it's get your capital out and see what else you can actually put it into then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So important.
Exit strategies are something that we talk about quite a bit. We often say, before you even buy the coin, you should really have that exit strategy in mind. What are you planning to do with it, right? Before you even buy it, buying it is secondary to really thinking about, where it's going and how it's going to get there. Because obviously, in order for you to buy something, you obviously have to think that it's undervalued and it's got future value associated with it. So you kind of already in your mind know where you're going to exit. So you just got to make sure you have that planned out ahead of time, really.
Yeah, and from watching what you do, a lot of the coins you go into is based on fundamentals. It's not like Chris, you mentioned there with the gaming and stuff like that. There's a lot of people just going in on FOMO at the minute because it's like gaming coins, you start seeing them, they're just kicking off and doing insane returns. So the next gaming coin that comes up, people are just jumping into it without even looking to see, is it real or what's there? I've seen some of them popping up as well where they're just using stock images from Unreal Engine and stuff like that. Some of that is really, really good when you look at it, but it's very, very easy to create the look of a big project very quickly, and starting to see them types of projects popping up where in reality a good game is going to take a few years to develop to get to the levels it needs to be. So just taking a quick look around before jumping in is always good.
Yeah, like the fundamental part of the project is so important, that the team as well. And like, you know, if the team's not listed there, I normally just walk straight away. You know, DeFi, so the decentralized exchanges, you don't always get a team on there, so that's my only exception to that rule. But yeah, I think the fundamentals, the team, the use case, those are just, you know, so important.
Yeah, definitely. And even back to the DAO, lots of dexes and stuff like that can utilize a DAO because it's a bit of a dangerous area to be in terms of regulation and stuff like that. So if you can set it up that the DAO makes all the decisions, then that's very beneficial all around going forward. So
with Harmony One, for example, we usually in contact with ViperSwap, which is a decentralized exchange on Harmony, but also Cobra Swap, which is on the Binance Smart Chain. Both of those are run by Venom DAO, which is how we obviously know them. And again, it's really effective for making decisions, right? And you know exactly who to go to using that DAO. So yeah, they're really powerful things.
Anything else you guys want to cover here today, or any other tips or anything you can give the community?
Just be conscious of like lots of scams, and I think that's like a secondary concern of mine, you know, around the game. And I know you touched on it, Paul. You know, just be careful, make sure you do your research before getting into any of the projects, especially the ones that are really new. You know, make sure that you've looked at the teams, make sure that, you know, the stuff that they've got on their roadmap, you know, looks achievable. Is there a roadmap? How long is the roadmap? You know, some of the stuff is really simple to glance over. I mean, if it's only got 3, you know, actions on the roadmap, and all of those end just before the peak of when we expect the bull run to be, I'd have some concerns, right? Particularly with gaming and stuff like that, because it takes time, as Paul mentioned. So, yeah, I think that's really important, and obviously. You know, some of these projects that you get into, I'm aware, like the honeypot scam, where you can get in but you can't get out. Yeah, it's another one that's popping up more and more regular. So just make sure that if you're going to get into one of these, obviously you've done your research. Just put a little bit of money in and just test it, see whether you can get it out before putting any large sums of money in. You know, the last thing that we want is anybody to get scammed. I'm very much of the opinion that if somebody gets scammed in crypto, they might not come back into crypto. They might then talk bad of the sector and stuff like that, and it just harms adoption. So, you know, if you're going to get involved in these projects, just make sure that you're doing all your due diligence, really.
Yeah, we see Squid Game went everywhere. I seen Sky News covering this cryptocurrency scam, Squid Game, and stuff like that. And so outside media is always ready to jump on these high-profile scams. Then so just be careful what you're getting into. Do your due diligence. Don't ever take one YouTube video or one tweet or one individual source as the reason you get into something. Take a look around and get a balanced view of something and make your own decision on it then as well.
Yeah, the other thing that I always say is, you know, jump into some of these projects, Telegram groups, talk to the team, ask them questions, you know, make sure you've got that good understanding. You know, Nick and myself, we talk to many project teams, you know, you know, and you'll be amazed how easy it is just jumping into a Telegram group, chatting, and then next thing you know, you're having email conversations and Skype calls and all sorts, right? So all of this stuff is possible. Anybody can do it, and I'm sure some of the teams are not going to appreciate me for saying it, but you know, like, it's really important if you're investing your hard-earned money that you're investing in the right things, the right projects, and the right people.
Yeah, and on that note of Telegram, I think it's also very important to make everyone aware that if you're going to try to join a Telegram group, that you try to find the correct link to the Telegram group. Unfortunately, there's lots of scam groups set up. There's lots of scammers that operate inside Telegram itself. So always head into the project's website itself. Usually you're going to find all their social media links there, including Telegram, and that was going to get you into the real Telegram group. And I say this because even when we try to find our own Telegram group, there's Cheeky Crypto Official, Cheeky Crypto Admins, Cheeky Crypto whatever, right? And then most of them are scams, right? But we're actually shutting our Telegram group down. And so you won't find us on there. So if you think you're in our group, high chance is by the end of the day you're not, because we've closed it down, right? So it's important that you do find the right group. Otherwise, there are some that have been set up only specifically to get you to part with your seed phrases on your crypto wallets, etc. So do be very, very careful. But as Chris is saying, it's always important to reach out to the right teams, specifically for the projects that you're looking at, and they are more than happy to help.
Yeah, it's a good point about getting into the group, but getting into the right group as well. And sometimes when you join groups, even official groups, you get 4 or 5 DMs straight away, all, "Oh, I'm an admin of such a group, how can I help you?" and all this pure bullshit. And so it's no admin or no owner is ever going to DM you first. You will have to go in, look at the members in the group and see who is the actual, because when you go in and look at the members within a group, you can see who's the admins of the group. They have, I think it's a star beside them or something like that, or the owner will be highlighted as well. So always make sure you're going for the right people, and none of these people will ever need your seed phrase. There's no reason any project ever needs any of that type of information. So Chris, Sick, really do appreciate your time. Great insights into what's going on. We will have to catch up again fairly soon. I think it was May was the last time. We'll make the next catch up a bit shorter as well, and get your opinions on how everything is going. So thanks very much for your time. I will put the links to the guys' channel down below as well. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Give the video a like, share it out there if others can benefit from this conversation. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.